Good afternoon and welcome to the business news and people who make a difference. I'm your host, Jamie Lee. Today we visit with Ron Franklin and the Greater Green Bay Chamber. Now we're inside with the difference maker, Ron Franklin. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
What is your position here at the startup?
I'm the director of entrepreneurship, so I oversee the building and all of the entrepreneurship activities for the Greater Green Bay Chamber.
And this area is called the Startup Hub. What is the Startup Hub?
It's a 50,000 square foot incubator, which is one of the largest in the States, and we're actually one of the most effective and successful in the entire country.
So you bring businesses in that are starting out. They have place to work and grow and hopefully one day move on from here as they expand.
Correct. So if we can get them in, give them the support and resources they need to be able to grow their business and thrive, then they can move out into the community and be a well-established, thriving small business, which in turn helps the economy because they're hiring people, they're growing their business as they continue to grow and expand, which helps everyone. So that's exactly what we try to do, and that's the premise of the entire program.
Well, we're excited to take a tour of this place, but more importantly, you are the difference maker this month, so we want to get to know you personally. It sounds like you have an accent. Where are you from?
Yes, I'm originally from Australia. I moved over here 2004. I met my wife. She went to St. Norbert's, did a semester abroad in Australia at my school. We started dating when she was down there. She came back December 1st. I surprised her Christmas Eve. We got engaged New Year's Day, and that was almost 20 years ago, 19 years ago, and we've been married for 16 years.
So what a wonderful story. From around the world, now you're bringing your gifts and talents here to Green Bay. Can't wait to get to know you better. Let's take a tour.
Sounds good.
Okay, now we're in the podcast room of the startup at the Greater Green Bay. They said, I guess I don't have a face for radio. That's right, I'm TV, but this is pretty cool. What is this podcast room all about?
So through what I do, which is a lot of small business consulting, a lot of people have started looking to do podcasts. And I consult with a lot of them about starting it. So we found that there wasn't much that they could use in the community that was affordable and accessible. So we built this. It took us about 8 to 10 months to get it fully set up. We worked with the NWTC to make some changes to the suite, to the physical space. And then we brought in all the sound panels, all the equipment to set it up for people to be able to rent it out at an extremely low cost, starting at $25 an hour, to be able to come in and film their podcast.
I love this. There's so many different opportunities and ways that businesses can grow. Let's get into more of your skill sets and how you came to help other businesses. Tell us, how did you get into the entrepreneurship and helping new businesses?
I've had the entrepreneur bug my entire life. Started like a lot of kids did with mowing business. I had the sweetest setup ever. It was my parents' lawnmower, my parents' gas. My parents drove us to the houses to do everything, and I profited all the money. So I mean, it was the best setup you could ever imagine for an entrepreneur. After a couple of years of doing that, then I obviously wanted to be a kid and have fun, and so I stopped doing that. But when I was 17, I opened my first real business in Australia, which was called Outer Edge Performance. It was a performance car parts and accessories business that I had aspirations of growing rather significantly. But when a couple years into the working of that, I ended up meeting my now wife in Australia and ended up moving over here. So I closed it all down, and then I started the exact same business over here, selling automotive racing parts and accessories, except 100% online, under the name of Drift Build. And then I've had that. I actually just recently closed that business down to focus on other ventures. But I've had, since I can remember, I've always been doing entrepreneur-based items.
Now I'm here in one of the occupied spaces. Tell us, who are you and who do you work for in this space?
So I'm Pam Malin, and I work at Disability Rights Wisconsin. We're a statewide organization protecting the rights of people with disabilities.
And how did you like being in the Startup Hub? How has it made a difference to you and your organization?
So right before pandemic, we were looking for space for 2 offices. We went around the city and looked at a lot of them, but we have to be accessible. We have to make sure that the hallways are big enough, the doorways are big enough, the doors have the openings and things. So this is the place that fit us really well, price-wise, and then accommodation-wise. It's just can't be beat.
It's been really fun and interesting to learn more about the Startup Hub and the Green Bay Chamber, but now we're here with Ron. Introduce us to your family, these beautiful girls.
These are my 3 little ladies. This is Helena and Madison. They are 9, they're twins. And then we have Savannah, who's 2.5.
So I bet
2.5 months, I should say.
And they're so beautiful, look like Australian American girls. I bet one of the pros and positives about being an entrepreneur is to have more time with your family, to set your own schedule.
It definitely is, and that's why a lot of people actually do it, is they want the work-life balance that they can't get from a 9-to-5 job, or everyone says a 9-to-5 job, but everyone knows that it's a 8, even 7 to 6, weekends, nights.
Right.
So that's why people want it and seek it.
Besides your work here, I know there's some other important ventures that you're a part of. Can you tell us quickly about some of those?
So there's I'm part of the Greater Green Bay, or the Green Bay Mentor Protege Program, which is part of the Green Bay Packers. That's through AFF Research. And so I do a lot of small business mentoring through them. But they, through their programming, they also found that there's a need for small businesses to help them outside of that program. So they started something, which is a nonprofit, called the Small Business Survival Alliance. And that's, I'm a board member on there, and a founding board member of that. So I've been able to help them in starting to grow and be able to help more small businesses in the area. And then I also, I feel very strongly about supporting children. So, and my little ones, the Wisconsin CASA is they're a tenant here. They're a non-profit. It's Wisconsin Court-Appointed Special Advocates. So when children are removed from their home, they typically are removed without any belongings or anything. So Wisconsin CASA helps supply things to them, whether it be clothing, toiletries, literally pillows and blankets. So I help with them, providing them additional spacing or finding other options for them to be able to create their drives and grow their business to be able to help more children. And then there's another option or another business that started here, which is a nonprofit called Giving is Good. And Michelle sends literally shoeboxes. It started with shoeboxes, and now they're branded shoeboxes that they send out through Samaritan's Purse and other things to kids all over the entire world, supplying them with faith-based items as well as toys and coloring items, things that they may never see outside from the outside world because they're in poverty and they don't see those sorts of things. So helping her be able to grow that business is really cool.
Wow, it sounds like you are truly a busy man, a great dad. We want to thank you for all the positive work that you're doing in the area and coming all the way from Australia to do some great work here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again for introducing us to the Franklin family.
Thank you.
This is Jamie Lee, signing off for the Business News, reminding you that working with a purpose makes all the difference. Wave!